Hello there again, and we're looking at another beautiful character today. As always, the lessons have been exciting, and it's been a blessing to be studying alongside with you. Today is part two of yesterday's study, and we're looking at patterns part two. What will you be remembered for? In this case, we're looking at someone. I don't want to even start talking about the background for this young man or this character of today, because if you don't know this one, I think you are not on earth. You are simply not on earth. So you should know him at least to some extent. I'll just go straight to the point because I don't want to take much of our time. The person is King David. Okay? King David. And this is a pattern king recommended by God. And we'll see a few things. I just want to run through them. Number one is that David manifested three dimensions while on the throne. He manifested king, priest, prophet dimension, right? As king, we see him, of course, on the throne. Then priest, you see scenarios where, for instance, even before he became king, he, he ate bread belonging to the king and to the priest and was not reprimanded for it. In fact, Jesus Christ made reference to that sometime in the New Testament. And of course, you see the pattern of his life that he could bless the people. The Bible recorded where he celebrated the restoration of the ark back to Israel. The Bible recorded there that he blessed the people. That's the priestly assignment, right? Which we didn't see in the life of Saul. And then we see the prophetic dimension of him also in the Psalms, right? I mean, you need to understand the book of Psalms to see that David was sitting down possibly about 1,000 or more years before Jesus Christ, but prophesying the things that Jesus Christ would do. Do you understand? For instance, the Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool. Now, that's alluding to Jesus Christ. You also have, you are forever a priest in the order of Melchizedek. You read the book of Psalms 22, where you have my God, why have you forsaken me? That's exactly what Jesus Christ said. And many, 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 many things. Many things. You see the prophetic patterns of Psalms 23, Psalms 24, Psalms 22 also. So Psalms 22 talking about Jesus and his crucifixion and so on. Psalms 23 talking about the experience of Jesus in the grave, right? Where it says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil. And then when you come to Psalms 24, you see the prophetic display. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and ye be lifted up, ye everlasting doors, that the King of glory. So it's like Jesus Christ now appearing in hell and giving that command. Do you understand? So it was highly prophetic. Now, he became a reference for the Messiah's reign. For instance, God telling him he will never lack a man to sit upon his throne. And then his kingdom will be an everlasting one. It was a reference to Jesus Christ, the Messiah. Now we go on to see that he himself, David, now established a prophetic city called Zion. I hope you know, when you go to the book of Hebrews chapter 12, it said that we have not come to the mountain of Sinai, right? Mount Sinai, that has all the soundings of thunderings and so unwelcome scenario. He said that we have come onto Mount Zion, the city of the living God. I hope you know that that description was not an earthly description. It was a heavenly description, because he said the city of the living God to the heavenly Jerusalem. Are you getting that? But David had established a city on earth called Zion. You get that? So he had established a prophetic city. Another thing was where we want to go to for our understanding of today, the patterns, God's testimony of David. Now, when Saul was rejected upon the throne, Samuel told him that, see, God has found somebody after his heart that will do his biddings. Are you getting me? And so we also see that's in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 13, verse 14. We also see in the book of Acts chapter 13, verse 22, where it's recorded that David served his generation, that he was a man after God's heart. God said, I have found a man after my heart. Now, what does a man after God's heart mean? It does not mean that he's perfect. Of course, we know his story, the mistakes he made. And on 2 occasions at least, we knew that God was outright angry with David. Number one was, it was not even just the sleeping with Bathsheba that was the problem of God with David. It was that you now decided to kill the husband of the. Do you get that? Now, it's not a story for now. Maybe some other time we're going to study Uriah. That's somebody worth studying. But for now, David had that problem with God. The second one was where he counted Israel without God's permission. In fact, one part of the scripture said that Satan tempted David and pushed him to count the children of Israel when God was not giving permission for that. However, regardless of all of this, these are the things that made David the man after God's heart, which of course God is not looking for razor sharp perfection from you. It's your heart is looking for. That thing you saw in the book of Proverbs chapter 26 verse 23, if I get it correctly, my son, give me your heart. So it says here that David was fully aware of and subjected to God's control in his life. He was fully aware of and subjected to God's control in his life. Number two, David loved the law of God. I mean, just you go read the book of Psalms. The very good one, Psalms 1. It says, blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. But in the law of the Lord does he meditate, and he delights in it day and night. Do you understand? So David was experiential in loving God. So he put it in the Psalms. If you read Psalms 119, you read across the Psalm, you see how I love your law. So he loved the precept of the Lord. This generation, we don't have people that love law. People don't like to be constrained. You see, there's no freedom without boundaries. Freedom without boundaries is actually captivity, is destruction, is self-destruction. The next thing is that he was unashamedly grateful and thankful to God for the things that God had done for him. If you see where they were going to restore the ark, the Bible recorded that David danced in even an undignified manner, that it even brought a problem on his wife Maker. But that's not our story. But you get to understand that he was unashamedly grateful to God. Psalms 104, that was also written by David, says, enter his gate with 100 rather, verse 4. Enter his gate with thanksgiving and his court with praise. We also see that David was genuinely repentant when God came with judgment against Saul, right? The first mistake of Saul was that mistake of performing the sacrifice before Samuel came. And he was told, he said, that he has sinned though, but he didn't show any level of remorse. Samuel left that place without him pleading for forgiveness from God. We see the second scenario. God told him, go to the land of the Amalekites and destroy them utterly. The guy came back with a king and came back with animals. And when Samuel came, Samuel said, what have you done? He started explaining as usual. Samuel said, obedience is better than sacrifice. To hearken is better than the fat of rams. This thing is a sin of rebellion, and it is worse than witchcraft, or is as the sin of witchcraft. And so he lost the throne there. Now, if you check that place, how did Saul plead? Please honor me in the sight of these people. No for my hand, I beg. Just come back. Come back. Let them not see that there's a quarrel. That's not what we see in David. David had made this mistake. The king, the prophet Nathan came to tell him that you did this. The Bible said he immediately tore his clothes and began to plead for mercy. Do you understand that? His heart was truly with God. Now, when they came and they rebuked him on the matter of the counting of Israel without God's permission, he told God, it is better to fall into your hands than the hand of the enemy. Take me, punish me. And when plagues began to come upon the children of Israel, he went to God and said, it is me that have sinned. Why are you doing this to the children of Israel? And you can just tell that this guy's heart was truly after God. And so we see that he was a repentant person, genuinely repenting. Just so you know, later in his life, they brought one fine girl near him. Touch the girl. Just so you know that his heart it has crystallized that, no, I'm not touching people anyhow now. So just all of those things makes us appreciate the character of David. We just can't finish studying David in a very short time. But here is the lesson to learn. As a result, God made him a model. He became a pattern king for every righteous king in Israel. Let's take some examples. You remember yesterday we looked at Jeroboam. This is a juxtaposing with the person of Jeroboam. This is David now. So in 1 Kings chapter 11 verse 4, when in the later life of Solomon, when Solomon began to mess up, the Bible recorded that Solomon's heart was not loyal as his father David. That means David was a pattern of loyalty to God, a pattern of full commission and commitment to God. If you go to 1 Kings chapter 15 verse 3, Abijam, the Bible recorded that his heart was not loyal or was not right to the Lord, was not loyal to the Lord as David, his father. Are you getting that? David became a pattern of righteousness. So if you are not doing well, David becomes your yardstick to be judged as a king. Remember we talked about Asa 2 days ago. Look at Asa's own. 1 Kings chapter 15 verse 9. Asa did what was right in the sight of the Lord, as did his father David. Then the next person that took over, we see Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat walked, that's 2 Chronicles chapter 16 verse 3. Jehoshaphat walked in the former ways of his father David. He did what was right. If you go to 2 Chronicles chapter 21 verse 6 to 7, Jehoram walked in the ways of Israel, but not the legacy of David. Are you seeing that? He didn't take on the legacy of David. He walked in the ways of Israel. So in that 2 Chronicles chapter 21 verse 6 to 7, they were trying to say, this guy did not even pick evil of Judah. He went straight to the one of Israel. Of course, it should be Jeroboam, the son of Nabat. Now, the Bible tells us in the book of Proverbs chapter 10 verse 7 that the memory of the righteous shall be blessed. Now, I know that when you want to write exams, many of us, we use that one to pray that my memory shall be blessed. That's not what the Bible is talking about there. The Bible is actually talking about the remembrance of the righteous. What the righteous has done. If when we remember, we become blessed. The system that David put on ground was a system of righteousness, of wholehearted commitment to God. I mean, just check out the things we have stated about David. And David became a pattern of righteousness. Now, we've challenged ourselves with the story of Jeroboam yesterday. But today, you can also tell that David left a spirit upon the earth. And every king that came in embodied that spirit. As much as they could, they would embody the spirit. We saw many other people that came up in Israel. Somebody like Hezekiah, somebody like Uzziah and Amaziah. They came, the Bible said they had in them, they did what was right as David, their father, did. You see somebody like Josiah and many others. Now, this is the question again I'm throwing to you. What spirit will you leave upon the earth when you are leaving? By the time you go and you release your last breath, what will your last breath represent for people? When people think about you, when people remember you, will they remember righteousness? When people remember you, will they remember someone who, within the capacity of the Holy Ghost within them and the ability of humanity, tried his best to do what God wanted them to do? You will be remembered not only by what you have done. People will leave their pattern after you. If your life will become the only book people will read, assuming there's going to be a biography about you after you leave, and that's the only biography on the earth, will we have a safe future? Do you understand that? This is the lesson we're learning, and I hope it challenges you to begin to reevaluate your life and begin to see how I can live it much more better. I think for the next episode that we're going to be having is also on this matter of legacy. So let's keep learning and keep learning as the Lord helps us. If you have not subscribed, I will encourage you to subscribe and then comment what has blessed you on this lesson or challenged you, and share and give this a thumbs up so that we can have this as a growing community. Thank you very much. God bless you. See you in the next episode.